The employees didn't know the truth. To them, he was just an old, helpless cleaner struggling with a mop. They laughed. They mocked. They insulted him. But as water dripped from his fake beard, Chief Obinna Williams made a silent vow. The day I reveal who I truly am, this entire company will tremble. Hours earlier, before the disguise, before the lies, Chief Obinna sat alone in his massive living room, the kind of silence that felt too heavy for one person. The night air was cold, and only one lamp was on, casting a soft yellow glow on the framed family photo he held tightly in his hand. His late wife smiled softly in the picture, her hand resting gently on little Michael's shoulder. Michael had been 7 then, innocent, happy, protected. Now he was 25, handsome, grown, and surrounded by people Obinna did not trust. He exhaled slowly. "My son, what are you walking into?" He heard footsteps approaching. Michael walked into the living room, dressed casually, his phone in his hand, smiling from ear to ear. "Dad, you're awake," he said, dropping onto the couch. "I thought you would have slept by now." Obinna studied him closely. His son still had that same soft smile from childhood, but now it was mixed with something else. Blind trust. A trust Obinna feared would destroy him. "I was waiting for you," Obinna said quietly. "How was your outing with Chioma and Titus?" Michael's face lit up even more. "It was fun now. Chioma wanted to try that new restaurant in Lekki, and Titus came along because he had gist. You know how he is." "Yes," Obinna replied calmly. "I know how he is." Michael didn't notice the weight behind the words. He leaned back and stretched. "Dad, relax. You don't need to worry about me. I'm fine." But Obinna didn't feel fine. He hadn't felt fine for months. He looked at Michael carefully. "My son, how much do you trust Chioma?" Michael laughed softly. "Dad, I love her. Isn't that enough?" "And Titus?" Obinna pressed gently. Michael shrugged. "Titus is my guy. He's been loyal since university. He always supports me." Obinna nodded slowly, even though something inside him tightened with every word. He didn't know how to explain the feeling. It wasn't evidence. It was intuition. A deep, heavy, frightening intuition that the people closest to his son were not who they pretended to be. He had seen how Chioma behaved when Michael wasn't looking. Sharp eyes always scanning, always calculating, always asking about financial details she had no reason to know. He had watched Titus become strangely comfortable in the company, giving orders no one assigned him, smiling too widely, watching Michael with a hidden envy only a father could sense. Obinna leaned forward. "My son, listen to me well. Not everybody that laughs with you loves you. Sometimes the people closest to you are the most dangerous." Michael frowned. "Dad, why are you talking like this? What did Chioma or Titus do?" "That's the problem," Obinna whispered. "I don't know yet." Michael sighed in frustration. "Can't you just give them a chance? Chioma loves me. Titus is always there for me." "Exactly," Obinna replied. "They are always there. Too close, too fast, too involved." Michael turned away, clearly tired of the conversation. "Dad, I don't want drama. Please. Chioma is my girlfriend. Titus is my best friend. Why is that suddenly a problem?" Obinna stared at him silently, feeling a pain he didn't know how to describe. His late wife used to sense danger before it arrived. She always warned him, "Obinna, not everyone who enters your home enters your heart with good intentions." He wished she were here now. She would have known the right words. She always did. But she was gone, and protecting Michael was now his burden alone. "I'm not trying to create problems," Obinna said gently. "I just want you to be careful." Michael shook his head. "Dad, you think too much." Obinna didn't reply. He simply watched his son stand up, stretch, and walk toward the stairs. "Good night, Dad." "Good night, my son." Michael disappeared upstairs, humming lightly, completely unaware of the storm forming around him. Obinna remained seated for a long time, alone with his thoughts. Every memory of his son's childhood played in his mind. The scraped knees, the school plays, the nights he stayed awake after losing his wife, holding little Michael and promising to protect him with his life. That promise echoed louder tonight. Something was wrong. He could feel it deep in his chest. But Michael couldn't see it, not yet. Obinna clenched his fists slowly. "If I don't find out the truth," he whispered to the empty room, "I will fail him, and I refuse to fail my only child." The fear in his heart grew thicker. The suspicion around Chioma and Titus grew darker. And the father in him knew one thing for sure. If he didn't act soon, someone would destroy his son. The clock on the wall ticked loudly. The storm had begun, and Chief Obinna Williams could feel it. Chief Obinna Williams sat alone in his massive living room, staring at the strange things spread out on the glass table in front of him. A faded brown cleaner's uniform, pair of cheap rubber slippers, a rough-looking mop handle resting against the chair. He swallowed hard. "Is this what my life has turned into?" he muttered. "A billionaire planning how to look like a cleaner?" The words sounded crazy, but the fear in his chest was louder than his pride. His late wife's picture sat on the shelf opposite him, smiling softly in her gold frame. He looked up at her face. "If you were here," he said quietly, "you would tell me what to do for our son. But I'm alone, and I'm scared of what he's becoming." He leaned back and closed his eyes for a moment. Michael's loud laughter, Chioma's fake gentle voice, Titus' overfamiliar jokes. Everything echoed in his mind. The way Chioma always touched Michael's watch, his car keys, his expensive jacket. The way Titus always appeared when there was money, when there was a party, when there was a deal to benefit him. Then the picture of his son appeared in his mind. Michael as a small boy, holding his hand at his mother's grave, crying, "Daddy, don't leave me too." Obinna opened his eyes and clenched his jaw. "I will not lose you, my son," he whispered. "Not to fake friends. Not to greedy people. Never." Just then, the door opened and his lawyer, Mr. Daniel, walked in with a file in his hand. "Chief," Daniel greeted, bowing slightly, "you asked me to come urgently. Is everything all right?" Obinna gave a small dry laugh. "Look at that table, Daniel. Does it look like everything is all right?" Daniel's eyes moved from the billionaire's expensive designer suit to the cheap cleaner's uniform, then to the mop. He frowned. "Chief, what is all this? Are you opening a cleaning company now?" he joked weakly. Obinna didn't smile. "I'm about to clean something," he said. "But it's not a building. It's my son's life." Daniel's smile faded. He sat down slowly. "Talk to me, Chief. What is going on?" Obinna exhaled and rubbed his forehead. "You know how much I love Michael," he began. "Since his mother died, he has been my only reason to wake up every morning. Everything I built, every deal, every contract, every risk. I did it so he will never suffer." "I know," Daniel nodded. "You've given him the best." "Yes," Obinna said quietly. "But the best life has attracted the worst people." He started telling Daniel everything. How Chioma suddenly became supportive when she saw the size of Michael's inheritance. How Titus always pushed him to parties, drinks, luxury lifestyle. How they always smiled in front of Obinna but rolled their eyes when they thought he wasn't looking. "I see the way Chioma looks at the cars, not at my son," Obinna said bitterly. "I see the way Titus calculates things in his head when money is mentioned. They think I am blind. But age gives you something money cannot buy, experience." Daniel sighed. "Have you tried talking to Michael?" Obinna nodded slowly. "I tried. He thinks I'm overreacting." "Dad, you don't understand my generation." "That's what he told me. He thinks I'm attacking his relationship and his best friend. If I push harder, he will pull away from me completely." "And that scares you," Daniel said softly. "It terrifies me," Obinna replied. "I can lose money and recover. I can lose contracts and bounce back. But if I lose my son's heart," he shook his head, "I don't know how to recover from that." Silence filled the room for a moment. Daniel glanced again at the cleaner's uniform. "So, how does this," he pointed at the table, "connect to Michael, Chioma, and Titus?" Obinna sat up straight, his eyes suddenly sharper. "I can't reach the truth from the top," he said. They act too well when I am around. They pretend, they form respect, they talk sweet. But people show their true colors when they think you are beneath them. He leaned forward. So I will go beneath them. Daniel blinked. Meaning? Obina's voice dropped. I will go into my own company. Not as Chief Obina Williams, but as a poor, helpless cleaner. Daniel actually laughed, thinking it was a joke. Chief, a beg stop, he chuckled. You? A cleaner? With your face on magazines? What if somebody recognizes you? This is madness. I am serious, Obina said firmly. I will wear a fake beard, wig, glasses, anything. I will bend my back, shake my hand like an old man. I will change my voice. I will stay where the workers stay. I will listen. I will watch. I will find out who truly loves my son, and who loves his money. Daniel's smile disappeared again. Chief, this is risky. So is leaving Michael in the hands of the wrong people, Obina replied. Tell me, which risk is worse? Daniel didn't answer. Obina continued. If Chioma truly loves him, I will see it. If Titus truly cares for him, I will see it. And if they are what I suspect they are, his eyes hardened, then I will also see it. Daniel sat back and studied him. You've already made up your mind, haven't you? My mind was made the night I saw Chioma drop Michael's credit card in her bag when she thought I wasn't looking, Obina said quietly. My mind was made the day I saw Titus whispering to her and hiding his phone when my son entered the room. He pointed at the uniform. This is not madness, Daniel. This is a father fighting for his child. Daniel slowly nodded. Okay, he said. If you're going to do this, you can't do it halfway. You will need a new identity. Fake background. A reason why the HR won't dig too deep. I'll handle that side quietly. Obina gave a small, grateful nod. Thank you. But Chief, Daniel added, you must promise me something. The moment it becomes too dangerous, you step out. No stubbornness. Obina smiled faintly. I'm not going there to fight, he said. I'm going there to watch. He looked again at his late wife's picture. And to protect our son from the shadows. Daniel opened his file and pulled out a plain sheet of paper. All right, he said, now all business. What will be your name as a cleaner? Obina paused. Then he said slowly, call me Pa John. Nobody pays attention to an old man called Pa John. Daniel wrote it down. Age. Let HR think I'm in my late 60s, Obina replied. Widower. No children. From a village far from here. Someone nobody can easily trace. Daniel kept writing as he spoke. When they were done, the plan was simple but powerful. A hidden identity, a quiet job on the lowest level, full access to observe every corner of his own empire without being noticed. Obina stood up and picked up the uniform. The fabric felt rough in his hands, the complete opposite of his usual fine clothes. He walked to the mirror and held it against his chest. A billionaire pretending to be a cleaner, he murmured. Who would believe it? Daniel looked at him carefully. Chief, he said, when do you want to start? Obina's eyes met his in the mirror. First thing Monday morning, he replied. By the time my son walks into that building. He gripped the uniform tighter. His poor cleaner would already be waiting, watching every move. And for the first time in a long time, even though he was afraid, he also felt something else rise inside him. Determination. By 7:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody in Williams' group knew that the new cleaner standing in the lobby was the man who owned everything around them. Chief Obina's back was slightly bent, his fake beard rough on his chin, his old cap pulled low. His expensive perfume was gone, replaced with the smell of cheap soap. In his hand, he held a rusty mop. A small, dirty bucket rolled beside him. He took a slow breath. This is it, Obina. No chairman. No billionaire. Today you are just the cleaner. Hey, you! A voice snapped behind him. Why are you standing there like tree? Move now. Obina turned. It was one of the receptionists. Funk. She didn't even raise her head properly to look at him. I'm sorry, madam, he replied in a weak voice, forcing his accent to sound older and tired. I'm new here. They say make I start from the ground floor. Then clean it, she hissed. You're already making the place look dirty. Some staff nearby laughed quietly. Obinna swallowed. He pushed the bucket forward and started mopping the shiny tiles slowly. His mind alert, his eyes moving. Everywhere he turned, he saw his own money at work. Glass doors, big screens, glowing logo, security cameras. But nobody knew the man behind it all was the same person dragging a mop across the floor. The elevator dinged. Chioma stepped out first. She looked like she walked out of a fashion advert. Tight-fitted dress, high heels, designer bag swinging gently. Her makeup was perfect, her perfume sharp and expensive. Behind her walked Titus in a clean-fitted suit, holding his phone and laughing. Baby, did you see the car that Guy drove yesterday? Titus said, grinning. That one was suffering. Chioma rolled her eyes. Please, I beg. If it doesn't have leather seats and sunroof, it's not car, it's Kiki. They both laughed as they walked toward the lobby. Obinna's chest tightened when he saw them. His son's best friend. His son's girlfriend. For the first time, he was seeing them this close without them forming respect in front of him. He stepped back, trying to give them space, but his mop slipped. The bucket shook. In one quick moment, water splashed forward and poured straight on Chioma's expensive shoes. She froze. Very slowly, she looked down at her wet heels. Then she raised her head and stared at Obinna with pure disgust. Are you mad? She screamed. The whole lobby turned to look. Funk covered her mouth in excitement. Security guards paused. Staff at the reception pretended to be working, but their eyes were wide. I'm sorry, madam, Obinna said quickly, bending low, shaking his head. Please, forgive me. It was mistake. Chioma didn't even let him finish. She pushed him hard on the chest. He fell backward, his back hitting the wet floor with a loud thud. The mop flew from his hand. The bucket tilted and poured the remaining cold water all over his clothes and face. The lobby exploded with laughter. See the nonsense, man. Cleaner way no even sabi clean. Titus bent over, holding his stomach, laughing so hard his eyes watered. Chioma, you don't kill me, he choked. Look at the old man. See as him day soak like bread. Obinna lay there, water dripping from his fake beard, his heart burning. He wanted to stand up and shout, I am your chairman. I am the one paying your salary. How dare you? But he didn't. He couldn't. Not yet. He forced his hands to shake as he tried to sit up. Chioma grabbed the bucket from the floor, looked at him once more and hissed. You people just pack any useless person to be working here now. Is this what this company has turned into? She said loudly, making sure everyone heard her. Old man like you can't even hold ordinary mop. Since you like water, take it well. Before anyone could stop her, she lifted the bucket and poured the last bit of water straight over his head. The lobby went quiet for 2 seconds, then filled with fresh, wild laughter. Even Titus clapped. Correct, he shouted. Babe, I swear you're wicked-o. Obinna's shirt stuck to his skin. Water entered his eyes. His knees hurt from the fall. He looked up at them, his face small and broken. Chioma flipped her hair and turned away, adjusting her dress like nothing happened. Let's go, Jer, she said to Titus. My mood is already spoilt this morning. As they walked off, their laughter echoed in the hall. But not everyone was laughing. From the side, a young lady dropped the files in her hand and rushed forward. Sir, are you okay? She asked, kneeling slightly beside him. Obinna blinked water out of his eyes and looked at her properly. She was extremely beautiful, but not in a loud way. Her caramel skin glowed softly, her hair packed neatly. She wore a simple blouse and skirt with a small ID card that read, Ngozi Okafor, Accounts Department. While others watched like it was a movie, she was the only one bending down to help him. I'm fine, he muttered, still pretending to be weak. Don't worry, my daughter. I'm used to this kind of thing. Ngozi frowned. You shouldn't be used to it, she said gently. They shouldn't treat you like this. It's not right. She took a small handkerchief from her bag and wiped water from his face. Some staff stared in surprise. Funk hissed under her breath. "See this girl," Funk whispered to another receptionist. "She wants to do Mother Teresa for cleaner." Ngozi ignored them. "Can you stand?" she asked. Obinna nodded slowly. She held his arm and helped him to his feet, steady and patient, like he was her own father. "Thank you, my daughter," he said quietly, looking at her with new eyes. "God will bless you." She smiled softly. "It's okay, sir. Please be careful with the floor. These people don't understand that anybody can make mistake." He watched her for a moment. Her eyes were clear. No mockery, no fake pity, just simple concern. "What is your name?" he asked. "Ngozi," she replied. "Ngozi Okafor. I just started working here some months ago." "Ngozi," he repeated slowly, as if tasting the name. "It fits you. You are truly a blessing." She blushed a little. "Thank you, sir. If anybody disturbs you again, please let me know. I'm not big in this company, but at least I can talk." He chuckled weakly. "Don't worry. I will manage." She helped him pick up the mop and set the bucket right, then stepped back. "I need to go upstairs before they start looking for me," she said. "Please, rest small when you finish. Your back must be paining you." "Yes, my daughter." "Go well," he replied. As she walked away toward the elevator, Obinna's eyes followed her. In the glass reflection he saw himself, an old, wet cleaner with a fake beard, and behind that image, the real man staring with deep thoughts. The laughter from Chioma and Titus still rang in the air, but something else was louder in his mind now. "So this is how they behave when I'm not around," he thought, his jaw tightening. "This is how they treat people they think are beneath them." He gripped the handle of the mop, his knuckles turning white. But then, he remembered Ngozi's gentle hands lifting him up, her angry eyes when she faced the injustice, her soft voice calling him sir, even when she thought he was nobody. A small, slow smile pulled at the corner of his lips. "Not everybody around my son is fake," he murmured quietly to himself. "At least one person still has conscience." He dipped the mop back into the half-empty bucket, water still dripping down his neck, and started cleaning again. But this time, as he pushed the mop across the floor, his heart was no longer only full of fear and pain. Mixed with it was a tiny seed of hope. And that hope had a name: Ngozi. Ngozi didn't know she had changed something inside him that morning. She didn't know her small act of kindness had opened a door the billionaire had kept locked for years. But Chief Obinna felt it. He felt it deeply, because for the first time since he started the disguise, someone treated him like a human being. During lunch break, Obinna sat outside near the back entrance, pretending to rest his weak legs. His uniform was still damp, his beard slightly crooked, but nobody cared enough to notice. Workers walked past him, laughing, gossiping, dragging trays of food. Only Ngozi stopped. "You haven't eaten?" she asked, holding her plastic food pack. Obinna looked down, playing the helpless cleaner role perfectly. "No money yet, my daughter. They say they will pay me at month end." Ngozi frowned. "So since morning you haven't put anything in your stomach?" He shook his head slowly. Without even thinking twice, she opened her food pack and pushed it toward him. "Take half," she said. "I can't sit down and watch you starve." Obinna blinked, shocked. "No, no, my daughter. Keep your food, you need strength." "No, sir," she insisted. "You need it more." She broke the bread in two, scooped half of the rice, and placed it gently beside him. He took it slowly. "God will bless you," she smiled. "Don't worry, sir. Eat before the food gets cold." She sat beside him, eating quietly. Other staff walking past gave her strange looks. "Imagine," one whispered. "Ngozi Day do charity for cleaner." "She will soon learn," another laughed. Obinna heard every insult. Ngozi heard them too, but she never looked up. After a moment, she wiped her hand and sighed. "Sir, can I ask you something?" "Ask, my daughter. I will answer if I can." She hesitated a little, then said quietly, "Have you noticed something strange in this company? Something that doesn't feel right?" Obinna slowly raised his head. What do you mean? Ngozi bit her lip like she was scared to speak. I work in the accounts department. I'm not high up, but I still see figures. And something doesn't add up. Obinna kept his voice calm even though his heart tightened. What is not adding up? Ngozi leaned closer. Sir, money has been leaving the company for months. Money that is not supposed to move. Money nobody approved. Obinna acted confused. Maybe it's mistake. This is not mistake, Ngozi whispered. Mistake can happen once or twice. But these ones are big amounts. Millions. Every month. Obinna looked away, pretending to think slowly like an old man. Did you tell anybody? She shook her head. Who will listen to me? I'm just an intern. And the people above me, they act like they don't want trouble. And the directors? Obinna asked. Ngozi lowered her voice even more. Some of them are too close to each other. They move like group. If I talk and they are involved, it will be me that will get fired. Her eyes dropped to her hands. I don't want to lose this job. Obinna studied her carefully. She wasn't showing off. She wasn't chasing praise. She wasn't pretending. She was genuinely worried. He spoke softly. My daughter, what do you think is happening to the money? Ngozi looked around to make sure nobody was watching them. Then she whispered, I think someone is stealing from this company. Obinna's face hardened, but he kept his tone soft, like he was confused. Stealing? Who? Ngozi hesitated. I don't know yet. I don't want to accuse the wrong person. But the people who shout the loudest usually hide the most. Obinna understood exactly who she meant. Chioma, Titus, those two shouted the loudest. Ngozi continued, and something else. The signatures approving those transfers. They don't look like the chairman's real signature. Obinna almost stopped breathing. She didn't know she was speaking to the chairman himself. She didn't know she had just uncovered the one thing Obinna feared. He inhaled slowly. You are very brave, my daughter. No, she said quietly. I am just tired of watching bad things happen. Someone has to speak. Obinna nodded slowly. Thank you. You have good heart. Ngozi smiled softly and stood up when her break ended. Please be careful, sir. This company. There are some people here you can't trust. As she left, Obinna watched her walk away. A pure heart in a dangerous place. He waited until the coast was clear before reaching into his pocket and pulling out a small, hidden phone, the one only his lawyer knew about. He dialed quickly. Daniel, he said quietly when the lawyer picked. It's happening. What happened? Daniel asked. I just got confirmation, Obinna replied, glancing toward the building. Money has been disappearing from the company. For months. Someone has forged my signature. Daniel cursed under his breath. Do you suspect who? Obinna's eyes darkened. I suspect two people. But I need proof. Real proof. What do you want me to do? Daniel asked. Obinna watched Chioma's laughter echo across the lobby upstairs. He watched Titus swagger behind her with confidence that wasn't his. He whispered slowly into the phone. Start the investigation. Quietly. Check every transfer, every account, every piece of paper. I want to know exactly who has been stealing from me. Daniel's voice tightened. And when I find them? Obinna's reply came like cold steel. Bring me the truth. I will handle their punishment. He ended the call and looked at the building again. He had come here to test hearts. But what he found today lit a fire inside him. A fire that would soon burn everything hiding in the dark. The humiliation in the lobby, the insults, the fake respect, the lies. Obinna finally understood something. Chioma and Titus were not just pretending. They were dangerous, and they were planning something big. But they didn't know one thing. The poor cleaner they laughed at was coming for them. Chief Obinna didn't sleep that night. He sat in his study with only one light on, staring at the documents Daniel sent to him. Bank statements, transfer slips, suspicious approvals, fake signatures that carried his name. By 5 a.m., he already knew the truth. And the truth was uglier than he imagined. At exactly 7 a.m., Daniel entered the mansion with a laptop bag in his hand. His face was tight, serious, and a little shaken. "Chief," he said as he shut the door behind him. "I've finished the investigation." Obinna didn't move. "Sit down, Daniel, and tell me everything slowly." Daniel opened the laptop and pulled out several printed documents. "Chief, someone has been stealing from your company every single month. Not small amounts. Millions. Sometimes tens of millions." Obinna's fingers tightened around the arm of his chair. Daniel continued, "They forged your signature, used fake approval memos, and diverted funds into private accounts." "Whose accounts?" Obinna asked quietly. Daniel swallowed and slid 2 photos across the table. Obinna looked down. His heart stopped. His chest burned. His eyes narrowed. The 2 people smiling mockingly in the photos were the last people he wanted to see. Chioma, Titus. Daniel nodded slowly. "They opened the accounts together, Chief. They've been partners the whole time. Every document leads back to both of them." Obinna closed his eyes briefly, fighting the hot wave of anger crawling through his veins. "My son," he whispered. "They have been eating his future behind his back." Daniel nodded silently. "And there is more," he said. Obinna opened his eyes again. "Talk." Daniel took a shaky breath. "Chioma and Titus are planning something bigger. A huge withdrawal. They want to take even more to fund their wedding. They want to disappear after that." Obinna blinked. "Wedding?" "Yes, Chief." Daniel showed him a screenshot from a phone record. "They are planning to get married secretly. They're using Michael for money. They are using him as a cover." Obinna placed both hands on his head. "My God! All this time." Daniel lowered his voice. "Chief, Chioma never loved Michael. Titus never cared about him. They were using your son as a shield while they stole from you." Obinna's voice cracked. "And Michael? Does he know anything?" "Nothing," Daniel said. "He believes Chioma loves him. He believes Titus is his best friend." Obinna stood up slowly. He walked to the window and stared outside at the quiet compound. His heart was shaking. His hands were curling into fists. His vision felt hot. He had feared they were using his son. But this was deeper, darker, more dangerous. They weren't just using Michael. They were destroying him from the inside. Obinna finally turned back to Daniel, his voice low and steady. "What do we do now?" Daniel straightened. "Chief, with this evidence, the EFCC can arrest them immediately. But you need to decide when and how." Obinna took a deep breath. "I want the whole company there. Every staff, every director, every manager." "You want it public?" Daniel asked. "Yes," Obinna replied firmly. "They humiliated me in front of everyone because they thought I was a nobody. I will expose them in front of everyone because they think they are untouchable." Daniel nodded. "I will contact EFCC immediately. They will be ready." Obinna sat again and smoothed the documents on his desk. "Daniel, are you sure everything points to them?" "No mistake." Daniel tapped one of the files. "Chief, the evidence is too strong. Their names, their signatures, their accounts. They've stolen over 280 million in total." Obinna's jaw tightened. "I gave Michael everything," he whispered. "But these 2, they wanted more. They wanted to destroy him completely." Daniel looked at him with pity. "Chief, this will hurt him." "Yes," Obinna said. "But the truth must come out." He closed the file gently. "Call EFCC. Tell them to come tomorrow. I will call for a company-wide meeting. And when they arrive, I will reveal everything." Daniel nodded and packed the laptop. "Chief, you've done well. Not every father would fight like this." Obinna looked at his wife's framed picture on the wall. "She would have done the same," he murmured. "She loved Michael more than life itself." He touched the frame gently. "I won't let our son be ruined." Later that day, Obinna returned to the company in his cleaner uniform. He needed to see Chioma and Titus again, now that he knew the truth. At the lobby, he saw them laughing together near the elevator. Chioma slapped Titus' shoulder playfully. "We need to hurry, oh. Once the money drops this month, we will finish the wedding payment. After that, we vanish." Titus smirked. "Michael will not even suspect. That guy is too trusting." Chioma laughed. Let him think I love him. When we disappear, he will understand that life is not fairy tale. Obinna stood a few steps away with his mop, his face dull, his beard wet, but his eyes sharp with silent fire. They didn't even look at him. To them, he was invisible. He watched them walk toward the stairs, still laughing. For the first time since he started this undercover mission, Obinna wasn't only angry. He was controlled, focused, ready. He dipped the mop slowly into the bucket. Tomorrow, in front of the entire company, in front of his son, in front of the world, Chioma and Titus would learn exactly who the poor cleaner truly was. And when EFCC walked in, their laughter would end forever. The moment the announcement went out that the chairman demanded a full company meeting the next morning, the entire Williams Group building exploded with confusion. Full meeting? On a weekday? Is someone getting fired? Is EFCC coming? No, oh, relax. Maybe promotion. Nobody knew the truth. Nobody knew the real storm coming. Except Chief Obinna. By 6 a.m. the next morning, he was already in the building. Still dressed as Pa John, the old cleaner with a bent back and a tired voice. He wanted to be there before anyone arrived, to watch how the day would begin. He mopped slowly, pushing the bucket across the lobby, his mind replaying the evidence Daniel brought him. Chioma and Titus. Fraud. Theft. Fake love. Fake friendship. But today everything would scatter. He looked up at the giant company logo shining on the wall. Today, he whispered, this building will see truth. At 7:30 a.m., the staff started arriving. They were buzzing like bees. Have you heard? Chairman wants everybody. I'm scared, oh. What if it's retrenchment? Even Gozi looked confused as she walked through the lobby, clutching her small handbag. When she saw Pa John, she paused. Sir, good morning, she said softly. Are you okay? You're here very early. Yes, my daughter, Obinna replied, keeping his voice slow and shaky. They say meeting will start soon. I want to finish cleaning before they chase me away. Ngozi smiled lightly. Don't worry, sir. Nobody will chase you. And if they do, just call me. Her kindness touched him again. He whispered, God bless you, Ngozi. She nodded and hurried off. Moments later, Chioma walked in wearing a bright red dress like she came for a party, not a corporate meeting. I hope this meeting is not long, she hissed. I need to do my nails after work. Titus walked beside her, grinning. Don't worry, babe. After this month's collection, you can do your nails in Paris. They laughed loudly. Obinna stared at them, disgust burning quietly beneath his ribs. But he said nothing. Not yet. By 9 a.m., everyone was inside the big conference hall. Hundreds of staff, directors, managers, cleaners, even security guards. Everybody except Pa John. The old cleaner stayed near the entrance, mopping slowly, pretending not to pay attention, even though his heart was beating fast. Where is Daniel? Where is the EFCC team? Where is Michael? He looked around the hall once more. Then he saw him. Michael walked in wearing a black shirt and trousers, looking confused. He kept checking his phone as he searched for his father. But his father, the chairman, wasn't in his usual front seat. Instead, he was standing at the back, holding a mop. Michael passed by him without noticing him. It hurt, but Obinna reminded himself, this disguise is for his protection. Michael walked to the front row and sat beside Chioma and Titus. Babe, what's happening? Chioma asked, touching his arm. I don't know, Michael said. Dad didn't tell me anything. Titus leaned forward with fake concern. Guy, hope nothing serious, Shah. Obinna clenched the mop hard. These two were still pretending, still acting, still lying. But their time was almost up. At 9:15 a.m., the hall quieted as the doors opened again. Mr. Daniel walked in with a folder under his arm. Behind him, 4 EFCC officers entered, dressed in black jackets with EFCC boldly written on the back. The hall froze. People gasped. Someone dropped their bottle of water. A director whispered, Blood of Jesus. Michael stood immediately. What is EFCC doing here? Where is my father? Daniel walked to the stage and took the microphone. Good morning, everyone, he said calmly. There was no smile on his face. Chairman Obinna Williams will address all of you shortly. But before he does, please remain calm. Chioma shifted uncomfortably. Baby, what is this? She whispered. Michael shook his head. I don't know. Dad didn't tell me anything. Titus's hand trembled slightly, but he forced a smile. Maybe tax audit or something. But Obinna saw the flicker of fear in his eyes. The guilt was rising. The truth was close. Daniel continued, This meeting was called because there has been a very serious case of fraud discovered in this company. Funds have been stolen, documents forged, assets diverted. The hall erupted into loud whispers. Chioma's eyes widened. Titus swallowed hard. Michael's chest tightened. Fraud? In this company? Daniel raised his hand. Please, keep quiet. All will be explained soon. But before the chairman enters, I want everyone to know. Nobody will leave this hall until the truth is revealed. The EFCC officers spread out at the exits. People began to panic. Who stole? Who did this? I hope it's not me, they will call. Obinna lowered his head, pretending to mop the floor, but every word, every breath, every heartbeat in that hall was clear to him. Daniel lifted the microphone again. The chairman will be here in 1 minute. Everybody stood. Even Obinna felt his own heartbeat. This was the moment everything would break. The moment the cleaner would walk forward and reveal the truth. The moment Chioma and Titus would face the consequences of what they had done. Ngozi stood quietly at the side, confused but calm, her eyes scanning the room. Michael, on the other hand, looked terrified. Where is my father? He muttered. Where is Dad? Daniel paused. He looked toward the entrance of the hall. He gave a small nod. And that was when Chief Obinna dropped the mop. He stood up straight. He removed the dirty cap from his head. He reached into his beard and pulled it off. Gasps filled the hall. Michael's eyes widened. Chioma's jaw dropped. Titus stumbled backward. The old cleaner they poured water on was their chairman, their billionaire, Michael's father. Chief Obinna Williams stepped into the hall. No disguise, no weakness. His eyes cold, steady, and burning with truth. And the entire company trembled. Chief Obinna stepped fully into the hall, standing tall and unshaken as the entire company stared at him in disbelief. The cleaner's uniform hung loosely on his body, the fake beard now in his hand, the mop abandoned behind him. The same people who mocked him, the same people who poured water on him, the same people who laughed at his pain, now realized they had been humiliating their own chairman. The room went silent. So silent that even a whisper would sound like thunder. Michael stood frozen, his mouth slightly open. Dad? What is this? Chioma grabbed his arm quickly. Baby, wait. This is not what you think. Remove your hand from my son, Obinna said sharply. His voice carried a weight the hall had never heard before. Chioma's hand dropped instantly. Titus shifted backward. Sir, we didn't know. We didn't know it was you. Obinna's eyes cut into him like a blade. But you knew he was a human being. Yet you mocked him. You poured water on him. You laughed as if he was worthless. Titus swallowed hard, sweat rising on his forehead. Obinna stepped forward slowly, sweeping his gaze across the hall. All of you treated me like trash because you thought I was poor, because you thought I was unimportant. The shame in the room was heavy. But let us leave that one, he said. It is not the main reason we are here. He turned to face the crowd fully. We are here because somebody has been stealing from this company. Gasps echoed across the room. And today, Obinna continued, the truth will come out. He raised his hand, and Daniel stepped forward, handing him a file. Obinna opened it slowly, his expression dark. For months, millions of naira have been disappearing. Company assets have been moved. Documents have been forged. Transfers made without approval. Michael's eyes widened. Dad, what are you saying? Who would do that? Obinna didn't answer him yet. He looked at Chioma, then at Titus. Both of them stiffened. Obinna held up a paper. Here is the first forged document. Here is the second. Here are the bank transfers done into private accounts. Chioma shook her head violently. No, this is a mistake. Somebody is framing us. Framing you, Obinna thundered. Is it my signature you forged that framed you? Is it the account you opened with Titus that framed you? Or the money you withdrew? The hall erupted. Jesus! Chioma? Titus too? Ha! Wonders! Chioma's eyes darted around in panic. Baby, please tell him I will never do something like this. I love you. Obinna laughed bitterly. Love? You love who? The boy whose money you planned to use for your illegal wedding with Titus. Michael staggered backward. Wedding? Dad, what are you saying? Obinna slapped a printed screenshot onto the table. Read it yourself. Their messages. Their plans. Their wedding budget. Their plan to disappear after the last withdrawal. Michael's legs almost gave out. He looked at Chioma, shaking. Chioma? Is this true? Chioma rushed toward him. Baby, listen. It's not like that. Don't touch me, Michael shouted. The pain in his voice echoed through the hall. Chioma, he whispered, voice breaking. You were going to leave me? You and Titus? After everything. Titus stepped forward quickly. Michael, please, just listen. Keep quiet, Michael roared. Titus froze. You were my best friend, Michael said, voice trembling. My brother. I trusted you with my life. And this is what you were doing behind my back. Titus's mouth opened but no words came out. He was caught. Finished. Obinna lifted a hand and signaled to the EFCC officers. Arrest them. Chioma screamed. No, please. You can't do this. Chief. Michael, please talk to him. Please. 2 officers grabbed her arms. She kicked. She fought. She wailed, her red dress dragging along the floor. Michael! Michael, I love you. I swear I love you. Michael! He didn't move. He couldn't even look at her. Titus didn't struggle. His legs gave up. He sank to the floor, shaking his head repeatedly, tears spilling down his cheeks. Chief, please. Don't do this. I was confused. I made mistake. Obinna stared at him with cold disappointment. You made many mistakes. The EFCC pulled Titus up. Chioma cried hysterically as they dragged her toward the exit. Every staff watched in pure shock. Every mask had fallen. Every lie had been exposed. When the 2 thieves were taken out of the hall, Obinna turned back to the entire staff. Let this be a warning, he said. You may deceive men, but truth does not sleep. He dropped the last document onto the table. Then he sighed deeply. A tired, heavy, emotional sigh. His eyes shifted to Michael. His son stood there, broken, shaking, tears falling silently. Obinna walked to him slowly. Michael, he said softly. My son. Michael looked up with red eyes. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I didn't know. Obinna pulled him into a strong embrace. It is not your fault, he whispered. People hide their true hearts. That is why I had to find the truth myself. Michael clung to him like a boy again, crying into his father's shoulder. And for the first time in many years, Obinna felt the weight on his chest lift. He had protected his son. He had saved him. But the chapter wasn't finished yet. As he released Michael and wiped his tears, Obinna looked around the hall once more. Then he said quietly, There is one more thing I must show you all. The room held its breath. Michael looked confused. Daniel stood aside. Staff members whispered. And Obinna looked toward the doorway, waiting for the final truth to enter. Every eye in the packed conference hall turned toward the door as Chief Obinna lifted his hand. Bring her in, he said quietly. The room fell into a deeper silence. Michael sniffed, still wiping the tears Chioma and Titus left behind. Managers shifted in their seats. Receptionists leaned forward. Cleaners at the back stood on their toes. Nobody knew what to expect next. And then, Ngozi stepped into the hall. Simple skirt, soft blouse, a confused look on her beautiful face. She walked slowly, almost shyly, clutching her small brown handbag. She looked around the huge room and swallowed nervously. "Sir, someone said you wanted to see me?" she asked. The entire room turned to her. Some whispered, "Is she in trouble too? What did she do?" "She's the girl that helped the cleaner." But Obinna smiled faintly. Michael blinked when he saw her. "Ngozi? What's she doing here?" Even in his pain, he noticed her differently, as if a veil had fallen from his eyes. Obinna stepped forward. "Ngozi," he said warmly. "Come." She hesitated. "Sir, I don't understand what's happening." "It's okay," he said gently. "You are safe." She walked toward him slowly. When she reached him, he turned to the entire hall. "I want all of you to look at this young woman," he said. Hundreds of eyes locked onto Ngozi, making her shift uncomfortably. Obinna continued, "Yesterday, when many of you mocked an old cleaner, laughed at him, insulted him, this young woman was the only one who helped me." He looked around the room. Only her. Several workers lowered their heads in shame. Funk tried to look away. Security guards avoided eye contact. A few staff bit their lips quietly. "Ngozi," Obinna said, turning back to her. "You didn't know who I was. You didn't know I was the chairman. But you still showed kindness." She nodded slowly, still confused. "Sir, anyone in my position would do the same." "No," Obinna replied. "Not everyone would." He stepped aside so she stood beside him. "When I started this journey, I wanted to see who truly had a good heart. Not for money, not for position, but naturally." He looked at Michael. "My son." Michael stepped forward, eyes still swollen but curious. Obinna placed a hand on Ngozi's shoulder. "This young woman is the only staff in this entire building who treated me like a human being when she thought I was nobody." Michael's lips parted slightly, his eyes softening as he stared at her. Obinna faced the crowd again. "I was humiliated, soaked in water, pushed to the floor. Yet she picked me up, fed me, spoke kindly to me, defended me." His voice grew emotional. In a world where people love money more than life, this young woman showed humanity. Ngozi looked down, embarrassed and shy. Obinna smiled softly. She didn't know she was talking to a billionaire. She didn't know her kindness was being tested. And she didn't know she was being watched. The room remained silent. Silent with guilt, silent with respect, silent with awe. Obinna turned fully to Michael. "My son, I have protected you from evil today. But I also want to show you something good." Michael's eyes softened even more. "Dad, what are you saying?" Obinna gently guided Ngozi forward. "Michael, this is Ngozi, a woman with a clean heart, a woman who fears God, a woman who has no interest in your money, but in doing what is right." Ngozi's eyes widened. "Sir, please, you don't have to do this." Obinna smiled. "I do. Let me finish." He continued, "I don't know what the future holds. I don't know who you will choose to love. But if there is anyone I trust to stand by your side, it is this woman." Michael finally met Ngozi's eyes, and for the first time he truly saw her. Her calm nature, her kindness, her quiet beauty, her genuine heart. She tried to look away, but Michael stepped closer. "Ngozi," he said softly. "Thank you." She looked up at him again, surprised. "You didn't know me. You didn't know me anything. Yet you helped my father. You defended him, even when others laughed. You showed the kind of heart Chioma never had." Ngozi's face softened. "I just couldn't watch someone be treated badly." Michael's chest tightened with newfound admiration. "I'm grateful," he said quietly. Obinna placed his hand on his son's shoulder. "A good heart is rare, Michael. Don't lose sight of one when God brings it close." Michael nodded slowly. The hall watched, touched. For the first time since the drama began, something warm filled the room, hope. Obinna turned to the staff. "Let today remind all of you that character is more important than appearance. Position does not define kindness. Money does not define value. Many people nodded shamefully. And the people you look down on today may become the ones with the power to lift you tomorrow. Obinna stepped back. Ngozi. She looked up nervously. Yes, sir? He smiled. Thank you. Her eyes watered slightly. You're welcome, sir. Then he looked at Michael again. This is the kind of woman worthy to walk beside you. Michael, shy but smiling now, looked at her. Ngozi, would you like us to talk later? He asked gently. A small smile appeared on her lips. Yes, I would like that. A soft wave of murmurs spread across the hall. Everyone knew something new had just begun. Something real. Obinna let out a relieved breath. The lies were exposed. The thieves removed. The truth restored. And his son's heart protected. As he stood before the company with his son on one side and Ngozi on the other, Chief Obinna Williams finally felt peace. The journey had been risky, painful, shocking, but it brought him exactly where he needed to be. Place of truth, place of hope, and a place where a new story could begin.